Hello, welcome. Let's dive into Creator Archive. I'm going straight to the source on everything. I am no longer dealing with humans anymore. So, gods and goddesses unite. Alright, we're going to do what we did last time. Just let these cards decide our fate today. But I've attuned this to the highest creator source energy, so that's what's going to be pulling the cards. And let's just see. God, what is the current energy for the collective? Feeling haunted. Haunted by what? So you are basically feeling like you have to be too perfect. You could feel like people are judging you, like you're less than, when you're really like immaculate in every way. You could be looking for this place of correction where nothing is wrong, nothing's lacking, nothing's missing. The universe is always calculating the best outcome for you. You're in that pinpoint of perfection. Maybe you miss that place. Maybe sometimes you feel like you fall out of alignment and it can be a struggle to correct it. And then you also feel like you're very angelic. You're perfected by God, and you know you're being perfected every day. And yet, like, people will never let you make mistakes or have flaws. They hold you to some standard as if you're supposed to be God when only God can be God. We can reflect parts of God. And yes, sometimes the things you're feeling, God is also feeling, connecting through you. And the same thing other people feel, God understands and has love for everyone, but you don't have to be that. You don't have to be God. You can be a part of God and still realize that it's okay to express your fire. It's okay to stand up for yourself against dangerous people, people who will do anything to win. While you're just sitting here trying to enjoy yourself, there's people acting like you're trash, like looking down on people, and that's not a real spiritual leader. I don't see very many spiritual leaders that look out for everyone, even the people who don't have much. They only cater to the people who have a lot because they want them to give some money to them. But the real people who work for Creator, they're thinking about everyone, the people who are suffering everything. And that's what makes these messages worthwhile, is because no matter if it generates money or not, when you do it for God, it's not about just appealing to people who have money. It's about appealing to everybody who needs the energy. And everyone is equal. So if someone wants to call someone else trash and, low class and stuff, they're really the trashy ones. We're getting into a place in spirituality where the real leaders will be coming through that have actual empathy and love in them. And they care about everyone. So that will be coming out, and it'll be less about being celebrity or having an image. It'll be more about the authentic you inside, behind the mask and the image. That will become more popular. So people who have relied on this fake image a lot in their lives, that's not going to work so well for the next wave of awakening souls. They're awakening to the internal world more than the external. And sure, you could look beautiful and be ugly inside. To be the real threat is to be beautiful inside and outside. But it's no longer going to be like a celebrity popularity contest. It's going to be about your essence, your authenticity, and that's what people will really see in these leaders in the future. So we're all equal. Some people want to belittle good people, just to make themselves feel better. And I don't think anyone who's truly a god or a goddess or of any high status has to belittle people to feel better. So that gives it away that they're just in it for the show, and that's going to fade away in this next shift, in the next year. So when it comes to them treating you like trash, just invite that royalty energy in that you deserve. They no longer serve you. So just avoid it like it's a parasite, because their influence on the mind, the way that they try to distort your life, and like, I don't know, it's like they want you to look at yourself like you're not worthy, and they want to be worshipped, and it all is just red flags left and right. So instead of trying to understand them and put yourself in their shoes, let God do that and put yourself in your own shoes for a while. Surround yourself with positivity. You know, people who have like all these altars and all this shit are doing magic, they're doing rituals. And we're talking about people who pretend like they're so benevolent when they're not. You know, I got attacked yesterday just by watching a reading that was super negative, that made me feel sick, and I could feel their negative energy. And that never happens to me, but God let it happen because it pushed me to the source. It pushed me to stop caring about stupid humans and only care about God, and let God care about the stupid humans. I'm on an ascension journey. We're going to the source chakra and above, infinite levels and nothing less. Okay, so in the infinite, people look like what they look like inside. They look like their energy, not what they look like on the outside. And the sad thing is it's like the most beautiful person in the world could just look hideous because they're just terrible people. And then one day when they get old and their looks fade, they're going to have no personality because they spent their whole lives living in vanity. I used to be very vain until my life got really hard, and I started seeing beauty in everyone's story and their suffering and what they've accomplished and conquered. I don't care what they look like. I'm cheering for everyone who's succeeding. So, someone feels rejected. Someone who's a goddess or thinks they're a goddess feels rejected. Or you could be the goddess and you could have rejected someone. You know, the thing about feminine energy, I'm not trying to hate on other females, okay? I'm really not. I've always been a guy's girl because they're just way more laid back. They say it like it is, and then you don't have to play a bunch of games. And females, they've always just been shady, conniving. And personally, when I look at somebody, maybe not everyone, but when I look at somebody, I see what they look like in an energy form, not physically. And, you know, whenever I try to work with feminine energy, when it's toxic feminine energy, it's literally repulsive to me. So I have no interest in it. Like, honestly. So you're rejecting some of that toxic feminine energy and looking for where the real goddess in these feminines may be hiding. And that real goddess that is caring like a goddess would be, like a nurturer and a guide. And I think some of you guys are rejecting someone just giving themselves a title without having the actual morals behind the title. So anything immoral, you're rejecting that. But you're embracing your own authority. So I always stick to hanging out with the guys because females are just too, like, conniving. They're always, like, have some tricks up their sleeve, some way they want attention or to get one over on you. And it's sad that they do that, because no matter how friendly I try to be and be a good friend, and most of the time they've always turned out to be like really fucking evil. I've very rarely ever met a female that wasn't in that fallen female energy. And I've been working with Lilith, that divine feminine energy, where it can be fiery and spicy, but it doesn't have to be nasty and gossipy and mean girl shit. She's like the mother of being able to be kind of chaotic without being mean. And she protects us a lot from these fucking people. A lot of lower entities will protect you sometimes because when you looked at them, you saw what was inside of them, like I talked about. So sometimes you could look at a being like Lilith, who's been judged and ridiculed in so many ways, but you might see that she's actually really beautiful and benevolent and misunderstood in a sense. And she likes me because when I first met her, I didn't automatically start calling her a demon. I saw the good in her. And that's one reason why she protects me. Because I don't look for the bad in people until they show it and they make it so obvious that I have to acknowledge it and get away from it. So you have a domino effect happening in your reality and what you are able to perceive. So you start opening the first door and it just creates an effect where all the gates, astral gates, whatever, start opening for you. And you have a lot of access, infinite, eternal access. And you get connected to the God of Gods, and that protects you like nothing else. Even Lilith can't protect like that God can. And he can protect by emitting love, not by fighting. But it's okay to have Lilith on your side. A little badass, feminine energy that isn't petty protecting you is always nice. That's the only feminine energy I've ever really gone along with because she's realistic, she's honest, she doesn't play games. So, an artificial reality has no effect. Matter is mental and malleable, adapt and mutate. Your reality is adapting. You're able to perceive more, so you're able to meld matter with your mind more. Something like that. Manifesting from the original network instead of the artificial. And the network is adapting to your manifestations, to your mind. As long as it agrees that your mind carries the greatest potentials for everyone, your mind can totally dominate the grid. But people who want to dominate out of wickedness, they fall away very quickly. So yeah, you've just opened your perception and it's shifting your reality just simply by allowing yourself to see it. And it's going to continue to just unfold like fast, one thing after the next, now that you're on the right path with these synchronicities unfolding and signs. And they're getting strong. You've been spoiled by a soulmate. Okay. Clarify. Hold on. What about the soulmate? How have they been spoiled? So this soulmate has been kind of trying to spoil you or give you a favor in unpredictable ways. So this soulmate's like a wild card in your life. You may not ever know what they're going to do next, but they make you feel kind of invincible. You know? Like Superman, Superwoman, or whatever, Bonnie and Clyde or something. Either the hero or the villain. Maybe you never know what you're going to get from them. And soulmate can even just be someone who's a really good friend for many lifetimes. Or it could be love. But they showed up for you in an unpredictable way to help you tame something wild that was going on. You know, they helped you take that wild card and go back to the drawing board with it, that wild chaos, and go back to the drawing board with it. And shift the way you frame your reality, the questions that you're asking, and the answers you're receiving. And that's what happened is so much chaos forced me to start asking Creator directly and getting rid of anything in between. Starting fresh, you know, like starting this new map. Like we've already conquered many lands. Now we're mapping out unknown territory. And so even though it was hard, it was a blessing in disguise because it got you back on track with your purpose. You don't want to be deceived. You don't want to have to navigate mazes, so you could know this soulmate helps you reset and recenter. I do see you working together, working off each other to keep each other centered. All right, anything else? You have money, gambling. Maybe somebody's been gambling too much, or maybe you need to learn how to use your gift to gamble and make money. See, that's interesting that came out because I've never been attuned to money. Money feels like a negative entity, so I've never really been one to use my gifts to try to win money or anything. I've never really tried it because I don't feel connected to that energy, but maybe I should. Either way, taking a chance on yourself, even if it feels like a gamble, just energetically, it's gonna pay off. It's almost like there's no reward with no risk or something like that. So you're taking risks, but they're paying off. And these connections are becoming much clearer. Somebody that was once kind of hiding themselves from you isn't so much worried about that anymore. They're not so worried about what everyone else thinks. They don't know why they ever cared so much what everyone else thinks. They like the golden era where you're locked in. It's like lock-in twin energy between people, and the golden era where it's not about being right. It's about serving the collective, and in the end, that ends up being the right choice. So you could be waiting for someone who's been starting to show you who they really are or how they really feel to really directly contact you and reach out to you. Maybe there's an unspoken bond. They want to connect with you, but they feel like you might be like an agent or something against them. They might be a little paranoid that everyone that comes around is an agent or is against them, actively against them. And they might be like paranoid or concerned that you could be that too. They've had a lot of false lovers in their lives. But they're accepting more and more that you're on their side. No matter whether it's just love or friendship or whatever, when you decide that you're on someone's side, ride or die, you don't waver. You don't leave them in the dust. You don't do that. And they can see that. You love them in whatever way. And you just want them to be happy. No matter who it's with or what. But you just want connections in your life that are equally yoked with you. And they're right there with you, equally on that channel, locked in with you. Anything else, you're not with it. You have no favor for it. And you get to decide where you put your favor, That's your choice. So, clarify anything else? See, this is a happy energy because we're talking to God. But, some of you could be learning to sit with your core feelings, your root feelings, and get to the root of the issues in your life, really within yourself. Some people could be showing up to help. Yeah, we got soul. Soul searching could be going on just to make sure that you're not causing any harm, you know, that you're bearing your light with dignity. So you're trying to expand limitation into infinite spaces for everyone to travel. Your soul and body is an aspect of the whole, like we talked about. More valuable than gold. Behold yourself as you search your soul and become a true light bearer. No quitting allowed. So you're starting to sparkle. You have a glow about you. Your soul is really starting to glow through into your physical embodiment. And yeah, I mean, you've got the inner and outer thing going together. And personally, there's nothing more amazing to me than somebody who could be like the most amazing, attractive looking person in the world, yet they're still kind inside and a good person inside. That is one of the rarest things there are. So that's why oftentimes I see people who have problems as more beautiful than people who appear perfect. Because, like, inside, they could have suffered the worst possible life ever. And so a lot of the times, they just continue to be a ray of sunshine for other people, even though they're the ones who always have to suffer. And they've had the whole world against them, yet they've chosen to be good. While there's some people who've had the whole world given to them. They've had a silver spoon, and even with that, they still chose to be evil. It's very polarizing in this world, and so the rare gem where they have both. Diamond in the rough. Shout out to you. Alright. So, infinite expansion in the source chakra, 888. Okay, so we're going to resolve any karmic situations in this infinite place of correction. And, you know, once all the karma is resolved, there should be no problem, no worries. We should be in this place where it becomes effortless creativity for you. When you're connected to the highest source, and all you want to do is create, and creation wants you to create and embody the aspect of you that is the creator, the full embodiment of your highest source fractal that just takes over everything and nothing else matters. It's a place beyond anything the physical has ever taught you. It's where you know yourself. You can read anything. You can pass through any situation. Better, not worse. So when you're embodying your part of source, you know that all your feelings are valid. You're not making a mistake. You're just going through a lesson. You're not in trouble because you had a weakness, like a weak moment or something. You get right back on the horse and keep going. And yeah. It just pushes you closer to your soul every time you pass through chaos. But you completed it, you know. Things have to flow and change. And if you allow change, it helps it to pass faster than resisting the change. So you should, once you get through the chaos, feel like you have a new lens, a more expanded perspective, and more energy, you know? And you're getting so abundant with energy that people are kind of trying to feed off of it at times. And maybe you're normally very source energy abundant, but they're addicted to your energy, and that could sometimes make you feel like you're losing your connection to source because they're draining it. All the stuff you source yourself, the information you source yourself, is your source self. So when people try to steal that from you, it's literally like taking a fragment of your mind. But when they embody their own source self, no one will feel drained. Because only you can do it, and no one else can do it like you in your God or goddess zone. So if you let other people steal your source energy, it's depleting. But when everyone generates their own, everyone can glow. And I think things that were once unknown, just no more. They've come to be seen. You have come here to be seen. So, you're starting to tap into infinite supplies of energy, but you're realizing you get used for being able to do that where other people can't do that. So, and Spirit even says it's not about being super protective over every interaction and stuff, but trust your gut, trust your intuition. Because you could step into just the wrong room and instantly have something in there that just sucks you dry. So just be careful of where you place yourself in any kind of energy room, because the room will start to attune to you. So if you're going into draining places with draining people, that's draining you because that's them. Their energy is low and you're picking it up. But if you're in high energy rooms that match you or diversify your experience in positive way, uplifting ways, that energy is going to attune to you as you move through these higher rooms. And you don't have to go down into these low level energies. And I'm telling you, low level energy is not always some person who's addicted to drugs who has a story to tell. Sometimes it's people who are addicted to hurting people. They'll suck you dry. It's like they have an energy addiction. Not necessarily a physical one, but some of those people who seem like they've hit rock bottom, they're more inspirational, more intelligent than anyone who grew up with some kind of privilege that, And I'm telling you that they really are. And that's why I'm not ashamed of who I am today, because I know I'm healthy. And people don't know what healthy is. It's not a stereotype to look a certain way like a Barbie or something. You can be healthy in many shapes and forms, as long as your soul is good on the inside. It's like these people who are ugly on the inside. It's like a rotten fruit, but you don't know it's rotten. It's like I see someone cutting into a watermelon or something that seems fine, but then you cut it open and it's rotten inside. And that's the trick that they play. But no one will ever see it until somebody is willing to challenge them to drop the acts and the masks. So you've been getting rid of somebody who has been monitoring you. They've been telling on themselves. So I guess all these people who obsessively watch you with no respect, really. I mean, there's good ones out there who watch me with respect. Otherwise, I wouldn't be making this video. But there's some people who are fighting themselves, like they want to watch, but they want to hate. And no matter how nice you are, their ego just won't forgive or give grace. It just wants to hate. And so they want to leave, but they can't because they're addicted to drama and they want to feed off you. But they're slowly starting to fade away because you're not taking no shit from nobody. And they're projecting a lot, telling on themselves. People are showing their true characters. Especially I see over the next year, this year. You're going to see the demon and the angel and everything in between in everybody. And I even had a download the other day, which is kind of applicable to this reading, because I was saying you can't take things for what they appear. And if you're intuitive, you know that. And sometimes beings who claim to be of the light are not. Some of them are very wicked and cold and greedy. And sometimes people have been through hell, like lower level entities. Sometimes they're actually more protective and loving than these false light beings. So that's something about good and evil that you don't always see if you just judge. Is that like some beings that have been demonized were just demonized because they were the good guys. And the system didn't want anyone to know that. So not all of them are even demons. We can't even call them demons. That's just what the program has called them. But yeah, never take things at face value. Anything else, Father? Okay, a fork in the road. Fork in the road. A shifting potential. So I pulled the card, the God of Gods. Original thoughts. You come first. You lead. And you're respected, okay? So you often come first, and then everyone else kind of builds off of you. So maybe in the past, you were the builder, the one who put the pieces together, but now you're more of the source, embodiment, where everything starts to domino effect off of your moves. And your moves are God's moves, and God always moves first. God moves, then we move accordingly. So you're more so letting God lead you than you trying to lead alone. You've been okay, hold on. So you were deceived by somebody in authority who was trying to delegate over you. That's what we talked about. They don't believe in equality. And they think they have some kind of like chair or position on some kind of council over your life. They think they have the right to monitor you when they don't. It's like giving you unsolicited advice that you didn't ask for because you don't respect the fact that they don't treat people equally. So you would never respect them no matter how much they play like they have a title when they don't. So there's a difference, a clear difference. Again, they're talking about the true being separated from the fake, especially when it comes to spiritual leaders. But you've been connecting with nature, and that's helped you connect with the stars, like as if the two grids are linked in a portal together. So nature has been opening stargates for you. And you and yourself have accepted a higher position now that you feel so close to your truest form. And you feel so respected. And you feel so like, I don't know, like deception just falls away. It can't touch you. And you're respecting nature. You're respecting God. You're respecting the way of things. And that's opening a lot of portals. I see as above, so below, the Earth network mirroring the stars and the planets, which are real. Very, very real. So you connected the worlds again. Good job. Just another Wednesday. But nature is proud of you for overcoming chaos, allowing the chaos to turn itself over. You know, sometimes things need to go through destruction for something better to be brought forth and emerge from it, and that's what happens. It's not to punish you. It's to help you be reborn again. And it always pays off in the end, right? Chaos, my old friend. Hello, chaos, my old friend. I've been through the worst chaos anyone has ever been through. And I hate, and when things have been good for years, it's like it's bound to have something get shaken up. But I always remind myself that, you know, that's change. Change is inevitable, but it's not permanent. Nothing's permanent, so it'll pass. It always passes. Hello, chaos, my old friend. And I just talk to the chaos and command it. It's not scary. Yeah. I've had cults, like legit cults, targeting me with black magic. And I just started praying and praying to Archangel Michael, and it all went away. But it was like scary because I had like tunnel vision. I felt like I was blacked out, but I wasn't drinking. I felt like I was blacked out in some kind of curse. And I couldn't really see through it until I started praying, and then it cleared. And, I'm taking on some powerful forces sometimes, and they send all they got after me a lot of the time. Especially when I get into my energy of Archangel Michael and fighting and standing up for what's right, a warrior, survivor. When I get in that place where I'm sick of being filtered and I'm ready to send every freaking weirdo pervert into the pit that exists, it's hard to stop me when I start channeling Archangel Michael. I'll be full on dragon mode, dragon form, full on warrior. And even I don't like it, but I know Archangel Michael likes to piss me off because I will end up speaking the truth if I get pissed off enough, which is very hard to piss me off. So it's like sometimes that it seems like, oh, this is so much, but it's actually forcing you to see something. It's forcing a breakthrough in your perception. Okay, let's see what else we have. It was like with the new moon in Pisces, and I'm already a Pisces sun and moon. It was just way too much for me yesterday. And today feels better, but yesterday, I swear some kind of freaking cult used the new moon energy as a way to target me last night. I saw them doing a ritual to try to target my shadow, to try to make my shadow unbalanced when my shadow is so healed and so balanced. My chaos is so balanced. And they just wanted to mess that up because I've been doing really well and they didn't like that. So we got the energy. This is a weird card. So you've been tapping into your spirit animal like the dragon, and I talk about some of you guys have nicer spirit animals like unicorns or something, but I have a whole array. And you do not want to make the dragon come out. I don't want that. But it had to come out because of this dance. This dance really isn't necessarily about duality, although it seems that way, but it's about expansion and breaking the limitations. It's like getting re-squeezed through limitation and can be uncomfortable, but it's worth it. And that contrast, it teaches you how to stretch yourself. Not, instead of shrinking, you start stretching and pushing and breaking the boundaries. And you start to do a beautiful dance in that way, where your opposites move together perfectly and they build upon and work with the laws of the universe while still breaking the limitations on consciousness. So you've gotten out of this nothingness and you're seeing more of the everythingness, and you can kind of step into that quantum mind or straight into a void, and you can take space there. But either way, you're taking up space in a lot of realms. You're not just shrinking into a quiet little place inside or being too crazy and wild and unhinged. You're learning how to step and move like 1-2 step in between the two, kind of like dancing between the two pentacles. But it's heart-based, It's not based off duality. It's based off what your heart truly desires, and it's not about lust. It's about getting what fulfills your desire in the most beautiful way. So it's fulfilling. It's not a lust like something you have to chase. You don't chase anything, do you? It comes to you. So you're dealing with somebody who sold their soul. Who sold their soul? That's random. God must want us to know something about that. Clarify, Father. Oh, I guess someone who sold their soul was able to get it back. This card says, all marks have been cleared and forgiven. You are now sovereign. So somebody was like being tempted to sell out, sign a contract or something, and they listened to God and they didn't do it. That's what I'm picking up. I mean, I literally see their hand about to like sign something really they shouldn't, and then they stopped themselves right before it happened. And then I also see someone else getting their soul back because they've been so dedicated to the Creator and proving that they deserve to have that soul, and whatever kind of darkness was in their heart or whatever is getting lighter, and they're starting to feel the light of the love of Creator again. So somebody wasn't able to feel Creator love for a long time, but it's coming back because they've been making wise shifts to make sure they're on the right station. You shifted your timeline. You made an exactly like I said, an important choice was made. Something that separated eventually returned. So keep going. It's in the process of being given back to you. They stole it from you anyways. They tricked you. Okay, why is this relevant? I guess it's good. You shifted something. You shifted your timeline by shifting your state of mind to align to God. And God did not lead you astray. Unlike many humans, never trust humans unless they are directly sourcing information from the Creator. But if they're sourcing from ego, run. Yeah, people who've been sourcing from their ego have been trying to become little handlers in training. And they fail at trying to be a handler. Your handler, your wannabe handler cannot handle you. Even when you lose, you win. It makes their head spin. You're targeted because you hit the target every time, and they don't like that. It makes them uncomfortable that you're so on point. Impose your opinion and expose what is hidden. Now, I don't really like that. I don't think you should impose yourself upon anyone. But I think someone could be trying to impose themselves upon you like they're your handler when they don't, and then they can't control you because you're unpredictable, and they realize that they're not very good at it. Handlers are supposed to have your best interest in mind, even if you are their puppet. So someone was trying to handle someone for their own benefit when it wasn't actually, they weren't trying to handle them like a manager and try to help them win. They were trying to handle them to help themselves win. So they were just trying to use you. And they don't realize that, you're not you wouldn't sell your soul to anyone. You wouldn't sell your soul for all the money in the world. Why would you sell your soul to some pathetic person? Just thinks they have power when they don't. You won't. So this says to hold on. Hold on to what? To your creativity? Make your creativity a priority. We also got the color yellow. Making lemons out of lemonade. Hey, alchemize that shit. Take anything and make it beautiful. Alchemy is making something negative and making it into something strong and beautiful. Not taking something negative and making it worse. That is not alchemy. Or stealing someone else's idea and just trying to make it your own. That's not alchemy. Alchemy is forging something into a better version of itself, like making lemonade out of lemons. And this summer energy that's around the corner Just very bright and creative. You're very in your solar plexus. And that means you have a really strong self-worth, you know? So you're not easily tricked. Even though people do try you. They try. And they might think you're stupid, but you're probably just quiet because you know better than to just go around telling everybody everything when they walk around with agendas. So your truth is coming through the mind's eye, indigo. People are seeing visions of how innocent you are. Like, you have a really innocent soul. And like you move with honor. You're focused on passing these tests that the Creator sends you. You embrace passing these tests. And you're just focused on that. You're not focused on a fight. You're like, I just want to win. And I want God to see me winning. It's not about everyone else seeing me winning. And I want to see myself winning. And I want to be proud that I built it myself with honor. And again, you've already built a lot. And so you're starting to take another step into a new beginning, a fresh place. And even that person who almost sold their soul could be this indigo child who's so innocent inside, who that innocence protected you. It really did. Could have protected you from someone trying to assign a handler to you, just get you all mixed up in lies. But your innocence is telling you the truth. Your soul is like your compass. And that's why when a lot of people don't have a soul, they have no compass. But your soul is showing you visions in the mind's eye, and it could be showing you who you can and cannot trust. It could be showing you, you could be seeing through the mind's eye, the physical world. And it could show you someone's angel, or if they're wicked, it could show you what they really look like. Yeah. And you have that discernment because you have a beautiful soul and a beautiful mind. Okay, we have some kind of older woman feeling overly polarized in the mind because of fear. Fear only creates something worth fearing. I was like, your mind's so beautiful, and then we pull this. Somebody doesn't feel like their mind is where it should be. They felt fragmented, spread too thin. But they're trying to get past this fear and get to this place where the trauma no longer defines them. They're not defined by the past. And they realize that they've been limiting themselves in the mind. They could have a younger man or just a youthful thought limiting them a little bit because maybe they're hanging on to the childhood or something in the past that's really hard to get away from. But as soon as they do, they're going to start having a hard time even comprehending their own greatness. Like, don't believe in the limit. The limit does not exist, right? Unless you reinforce it. So stop doing that. Believe in the impossible to make it possible. If you're feeling really polarized and kind of torn, sit with that feeling. Move with that feeling. Shape that feeling. Work through it until you redefine it. And command that shit. Command it. With God behind your back. Backing you up. Make sure you got your back up. You're a mystery. You may find sanctuary in some kind of void energy. Very quiet place. It's almost like just this blank slate. Quiet sanctuary that you can escape into and go into that space and realize how it reflects your state of mind and use your mind to create spaces in this void that will mirror into the real world spaces all around you. So if you're seeing things as overpolarized, go into a blank place and recreate your whole reality. Just step out of it into a new blank place. Voids can be beautiful and they can show you the inner workings of your mind. So it's really serious work. If you rearrange your memory and the way you remember things, it'll change the impression it has upon you. Okay? So sure, make it fun, but know that it's serious work and it does work. And you have to put a lot of energy into it. The more energy you put into transformation, the better and the longer it will last. You get what you give, even when it comes to healing. Spend an hour, 2 hours, however long, just clearing, connecting with whatever element makes you feel the best, like water. Go underwater and visualize all this stuff just being detoxified from your being, your body, your soul, everything. Whatever it is, if it's fire, do something with fire. If it's air, if it's earth, I don't know. But the elements will cleanse you. Take time to connect with them. Set intentions. Do a ritual with the elements. Work with the ancients, never the agents. The agents do not properly represent anything but themselves. I hope everyone out there who has no morals gets caught, and soon, because I'm sick of it. Don't ever bring that shit to my door. Okay, so we have archive the energy. So when you do this work, you can literally speak to the Akashic Records and speak to the archive, and you can archive your learning and go back and visit it, just like picking up a book out of the astral or the ethers. So this one says, archive the learning. Don't just live in the library, but own the moment of being the living library. So the library lives through you. So sometimes this energy work is the record, the memory of existence, healing through you. Some of you guys are carrying energies from the ancients, trying to help you correct distortions in your bloodlines. And if you don't correct it, it might just get passed on to someone else. And that's why when it comes to you to correct something, all of the ancestors are helping you because they don't want it to keep living on and being passed on again to someone else. So even when you feel like you're alone, but you feel like there's a lot going on, you're living out these stories, reliving history sometimes to change the ending for everyone forever. And that's why they keep showing me you going underwater, because water carries the memory bank. So if you have just a lot in your head, release into the collective memory bank. Your mind can only hold so much at a time. I mean, it can hold a lot, and if you're evolving, it can hold more than most humans. But release it into the infinite memory. Let it be harmonized in the water, and it'll come back to you when you need it. Or it'll just go out and be healed, and that's done. What's done is done. And know it is done. And so it is. That's the archive of energy. Just know it is done. Whatever you speak, whatever you create is what it is. Whether people like it or not, you deserve to thrive. They want you to create for you. And the more original you are, the more unique you are, it'll inspire others to be original. And that's what God wants to see. He wants to see new things, new creations, not just copying stuff. Like, that copycat energy is so uninspiring. It's uninspiring because it doesn't come from Spirit directly. Because things that come directly from Spirit, every word of it just brings new movement, new growth. So you're inspired by God. And people are inspired by you because you're inspired by God. God is so inspiring, it has to be. So we'll be motivated to keep creating and sending creation more energy. And then it recreates us in return, back and forth. And at some point the line blurs between creator and creation, and they move as one. And that happens for everyone individually. And once everyone individually masters their own creativity, then they can start connecting with other creators, because they'll know how to do it right. Not by trying to dominate and control them, but by moving with equilibrium and respect for all people in all life. Even in the ones that are not so beautiful or pure on the inside. They just need to be purified by doing the work that you do. So, you are pure. And purifying your bloodline is not about having some perfect genes, but you will recode the DNA when you heal and archive these lessons. So you actually are changing your genetics for the future. But it's not pure as in like a race thing. It's like the DNA is in its strongest form without any breaks or flaws or anything. When you do this work, I don't know, it's like you correct the DNA strand in certain areas, or the code in the DNA strands get corrected when you recode your mind, and that seems to be a permanent correction that will be passed on. So if you ever feel like, I hope my future generations don't go through what I went through, make sure you do the healing work, and they won't. Not likely. So you're feeling humble also. Humble about what? Repair. About the repairs that you're doing. You're feeling kind of humbled by the presence of the ancients. How much trust they put in you. They know you can do it. That you can make these repairs to the grid. Okay. So even though you're trying to be nice, you're also letting that Archangel Michael, I'm not standing for corruption, come out as well. You can't just let people walk all over you, even with black magic. And black magic is no joke when you have cults coming against you. So your family has had, this stuff I see it in your ancestry, like, people have put curses on your bloodlines or something. And it can be scary to be like trying to untangle that yourself. But you got this with God. Just don't fall for it. They have to trick your mind. If you believe it, then it will work. But if you don't believe it, it won't work. And you can also stop it from ever hitting anyone else. So I saw this black magic being done in past timelines to try to stop these really sovereign family lines from rising and to keep the corrupt family lines in power. They try to put like curses on bloodlines that will put them in poverty or whatever. And those people in poverty or whatever at the bottom are often supposed to be in power. And they're often the best people who should be in power. And that's why they curse their families, because they're scared if they rise, They're scared of their rise. So this is over right now. This card says, don't fall for their smoke and mirrors. An attempt to take your will and create fear fades into oblivion as you claim your position in God's heaven. Shuffle your ethereal cards and discard them. There is no real fame in causing pain. Sounds a little on theme with the reading, don't you think? And that's mostly for these corrupt bloodlines. There's no power in causing pain. None whatsoever. Of course, take down all these freaking perverts in the world. Take them out of the equation so we can live in a goddamn utopia of good people. I'm all for that. So you're allowing yourself to be open to releasing any ways this stuff's been like controlling your mind in any way. Okay, you're open to the possibilities of happiness beyond their imposed sense of control that they want to force on people. The possibilities are very open right now. One of the things someone's untangling is the mind control that's been put on their family, where they started believing they were not good enough or whatever. And all of these people at the top, they send out the programming to the world and get the world to reinforce these stereotypes, and that these people in poverty aren't good enough, and they start to believe it, and it's all just a big curse. It's not real. It's not even real. None of you are meant to be suffering. That's all imposed by these people who secretly run the show, and they use heavy black magic, and they get you to believe it, and that's how it lasts for so long, all the time. You gotta break the chain of believing their crap. No matter how scary they pretend to be, they're pathetic. So this says rebel against the mind control to open the next doors. And yes, God's opening every door and window as you move. I mean, really, but you gotta fight. You gotta fight them. They might have tried to break your spirit, make you so you don't fight anymore and you just let things pass. But that rebel, that fight in you is coming out where you're not going to stand for it. And that's okay. Screw this freaking censorship. We are allowed to speak and speak freely. They're not going to program into me that I have to filter myself when I'm standing up for what's right. So this is bringing you healing. So you're finding forgiveness. You're feeling stronger in your royalty because you're the real royal bloodlines that they've been trying to suppress. And the warrior in you will never be defeated. So you're like a lioness or a lion. But you're finding forgiveness. You're finding forgiveness for those who have been manipulated, and more so focus on the ones at the top who pull all the strings on people. You don't always get mad at the people who have been manipulated because they probably don't realize what's happening or they don't know any better. And you're focusing your aim on the people at the top who are pulling the strings on your loved ones and friends. So you're finding forgiveness for the fact that they know not what they do, in a way. Because a lot of them, this has been programmed into their lineages for so long they don't even know it's a program. And you do. You're like the only one who can fully see it, actually. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? Not Spirit. We're going straight to Source. Source asked me to be the Source direct original messenger, and I am taking that. Affirm your manifestation. I just did. I am that I am. There are no mistakes. I am divinely inspired. Creator spirit moves through me, and that's the only spirit I trust. Sure, Creator may send other things to help too, but I'm telling you, God picked me, and I'm showing up, and that's sometimes all you gotta do is show up for yourself, show up for the mission, and know you have a little help, but you just gotta show up. Your presence in this chain of people chosen. You were chosen. And so you have to be the one to break the chain. You know, all this stuff that's been frozen and through time that's never been corrected is being corrected through you. And that's why you were placed here on this earth. Far and few between. You're a rare one. So, banish any ideas that you are weak, because you are not weak. I think I'm going to leave that about where it's at for today. Final resolution, Father. Oh, the gossip in the air. Clear the air on gossip. Resolve any elephant in the room because it's causing you unnecessary suffering. And that means it's unnecessary. We don't need that. So let go of that drama and just remain untouchable in your balance. Your self-awareness is growing. And you're not insane. You're sane. You may feel a little insane, but you're not. So, let it go. Let it go. Don't worry about it anymore. I don't know. All right. Take care, everyone. I'll talk to you in the next one.